While Kant gives reason an important role in acquiring knowledge, he also says that reason inevitably distorts this knowledge. This is because the concepts used in processing information come from the senses, but reason does not try to derive its own concepts from the senses. As a result, reason works with ideals instead of concepts. Instead of providing limited information, these kinds of concepts transcend boundaries and lead to deception. As a result of these illusions, antinomies emerge. This is why metaphysics is a constant area of debate. The concept of idea. Kant uses the concept of idea differently from Plato. In Plato's philosophy, the idea represented the ideal world to be reached. It was important for overcoming limitations, that is, the phenomenal world. Kant accepts Plato's understanding of the ideal world, but interprets it differently. According to Kant, Plato's ideal world has a negative meaning because it expresses going beyond the limits of experience and knowledge. Kant defines ideas as pure concepts of reason and describes them as more abstract than the pure concepts of understanding. They cannot be depicted because there are no beings that ideas point to. Therefore, ideas cannot be concrete. The abstract nature of ideas is not a problem, but the fact that they have no counterparts in the realm of experience is. For example, numbers are abstract concepts, but they do not pose a problem because they are used in the realm of experience. Similarly, although the concepts of understanding do not come from experience, they are not a problem because they find their counterparts in experience. However, the concepts of pure reason have no possibility of concretization because they have no counterpart in experience. Therefore, no objective inference can be made from ideas, nor can any counterpart be found, as is the case with the concepts of understanding. Indeed, Kant says that ideas are pseudo-rational rather than rational. These ideas are not the invention of a particular person, but the product of human reason in general. These results should be called pseudo-rational rather than rational. They are not accidental or figments of the imagination, but stem from the nature of human reason. For these are the sophisticated thoughts of pure reason, not of a human being. In other words, Kant argues that these ideas are a kind of illusion of reason. Reason falling into illusion. Just as it arises as a result of the relationship between knowledge, understanding, and imagination, reason, as a result of its relationship with understanding, wants to continue the progress of knowledge in a different way. Reason is directed not to the objects in the field of experience, but to the understanding that produces this knowledge. The function of reason in this kind of relationship is not to acquire knowledge, but to give unity to knowledge. Therefore, the unity here is different from that in experience or understanding. We can consider understanding as the faculty that provides the unity of appearances through rules, and reason as the faculty that provides the unity of the rules of understanding through principles. Therefore, reason refers neither directly to experience nor to any object. Reason refers to a unity, different from the unity and form of understanding, which can be called its own unity, to give a priori unity to the diversity of the knowledge of understanding. According to Kant, principles ensure that the particular in a proposition is universally constituted through concepts. Understanding tries to arrive at universal and a priori knowledge through judgments. These judgments are immanent because they remain within the realm of experience. Reason, on the other hand, tries to achieve a different kind of universality and uses syllogisms instead of judgments. The universality in syllogism is expressed by Kant with two interrelated terms. Accordingly, reason seeks absoluteness and wholeness through universality. Understanding does not seek these two qualities when it provides information about the realm of experience. It is reason that wants to fulfill this task. In this sense, the universality of understanding is sought to be elevated to a higher level by reason's search for these two qualities, and therefore the limits of experience are transgressed. Reason then thinks that this will be achieved by finding the unconditioned of these two elements. While focusing on the illusion in the relationship between understanding and reason, we should focus on the transcendental in explaining the idea and the ideal. Antinomy and paralogism. In fact, antinomies are a product of the process we mentioned above. However, illusions lead not only to antinomies but also to paralogisms. The important point is to understand that reason can fall into illusion in different ways and with different ideals. Antinomies are when reason makes two different and equally convincing claims about the same subject. The question of whether the world has a beginning forms the basis of antinomy. The issue here is not limited to the beginning of the world, because the beginning of the world, in a way, turns into the problem of the beginning of matter. This problem of beginning goes as far as how it began, by whom it was initiated, and ultimately to the problem of infinity. According to Kant, we can say to these questions, yes, it has a beginning and a starter, that is, a creator, just as we can say, no, it has neither a beginning nor a creator. Paralogisms, on the other hand, arise in relation to the concept of the soul. Here too, the question of whether there is a soul can be questioned by reason. The important point in both paralogisms and antinomies is to understand that there can be no definitive answer to them. Thus, reason can create an awareness of itself. When this awareness arises, although the reason that leads to these errors does not disappear, reason can realize that these judgments will result in an illusion. The reason that Kant mentioned at the beginning of our video series, the reason that resides above these two reasons, is the reason that can grasp this difference. By placing this conscious reason over the mistaken reason, Kant rescues reason from the kind of negative situation it has fallen into. The state of transcendence we mentioned in the idea section above is encountered especially in the concepts of God and soul, because these concepts are negative in their functioning, which transcends the limits of reason. These concepts, in a way, claim to provide information because they think they are constructive. As mentioned above, the claim to systematicity, or to give the highest systematic unity to knowledge, is beyond the capabilities of reason. Because, according to Kant, finding the sought-after absoluteness and wholeness in experience is contrary to the nature of the object. This means, in a way, objectifying God or materializing the soul, both of which are contrary to these concepts. As we will see later, the antinomy and paralogism and the falling of reason into illusion are a deficiency or state of theoretical reason. According to Kant, the method that reason should resort to for this situation is to deal with them practically, not theoretically. For now, it is enough to know that despite all these negativities, these concepts of reason are not destroyed, but are kept for use in the practical realm. Video summary. In this section, under the heading of Transcendental Dialectic, we examined ideas, illusions, and as examples of these, antinomies and paralogisms. In the ideas section, we tried to show how these concepts differ from the concepts of understanding. In the illusions section, we explained what kind of errors reason's effort to transcend boundaries with ideas leads to. In fact, illusions are a consequence of reason's desire to achieve the highest unity. As a result of this desire, it is not knowledge that emerges, but as we mentioned in the last part, antinomies and paralogisms.